So the talk of today is embrace our difference to find our equality. And so first I'd like to focus on the what identifies as unique. What is our each uniqueness, you know, and get a bit introspective on how much we are conformed sometimes to society, to fashion, to other people's opinions, you know, how much we try to conform our nature and change it because of the demands that are there, you know, or the beliefs or the theories existent there, how much we actually are affected by that, you know. So I thought the first we'd do an exercise and then, you know, like activities. I'm a professor, I teach statistics and I teach also personal development. I teach a lot of things, cooking and yoga and other things that I like teaching. I taught since I was in 7th grade. I used to teach my neighbors how to do math even in 7th grade. So I'm a teacher by nature for sure. So I have these sticky notes, I love sticky notes, and this color that Roberta gave me. So this brings her into the equation in here. And there's 2 stickies, one of each color, and one of them I'm going to put some personal trait, you know, not a skill you have, a personal trait, a characteristic that you have, you know. I have mine, I wrote them somewhere, but I think I am, you know, what did I put? I'm a leader, talkative, and a procrastinator. Those things I am. Those things at least I am. I'm more than that, but for sure I am, you know. So at least put 1 or 2 things you are, you know, the good qualities. You think you have good qualities that you have, they're good qualities. And some things in here you can write they're not good qualities, yes? That you have as traits but you don't like them, yes? They're anonymous, you don't have to put your name. Just put good, 1 or 2 good qualities and 1 or 2 bad qualities that you like, you know. I prefer 1 and 1 because it's easy to read. Now we're going to do an exercise of reading those things. And so I will pass around. Let's please take the color, take the stickies, and reach. So the blue I think is good, and the pink is not good or whatever. We'll talk about that in a second. Thank you. And I like these cards, they're so cute. So the long time ago, I don't even know what I got. Not on the blue. Yeah, just be careful because some things ain't not right in there. I have also my friends.
So we're not writing our names?
No, not writing names. Doesn't matter, I mean, doesn't matter. One color.
It should be obvious anyway.
No, doesn't matter. You want to do consistently, do the blue, back. I'm going to lose my pants. Let's do the blue. What did I put here? Blue is a good quality and pink is a bad quality.
Just 1 quality.
Yeah, 1 is nice.
Yeah.
You can write more if you want. You write pens.
I need a bigger one.
Yeah. I should write mine too.
Not for the bad quality.
I'm going to participate too.
It's like,
Oh, wow, it's very relevant.
Yeah. Like your own little practice of.
Yeah, I was just reading this book and it was like list 10 big things.
So you've got them all.
Yeah.
Since we're on the floor, I think we could do in a wall. Maybe we can do in a wall. I'm going to put, let's do it here. Here we're going to put the blue ones. And here is the stick. I don't know the stick. Here we're going to put the white ones.
Can we do it now?
Yeah, we can put it there. They may fall in the ground, I don't know. the sticky may not be strong enough.
My mind is like.
No, you can do it.
I know.
It may fall, is another.
And then what about after lunch?
I know.
Not sure it's the right thing.
I still cannot put my pants inside me here for 3 months.
You giggle it up. Oh, we want to do one.
I don't
That's okay. You
That's
can
what
do
it
more
is.
than 2, one, no problem. You can, no problem. Yay.
No,
Yeah,
please
we can-
don't walk
We can
out.
play another game. Okay, so I'm going to give you a number now. Okay.
Oh, no.
That's a quality.
Bad quality.
That's a quality. That's a quality. Okay, so you are number 1.
Yeah.
You are number 2 pair. You are number 1, the 2, 1, and 2. So
Wait,
all
what was that? Sorry.
2. So all the ones go to pink, all the 2 go there. And the pink, if we did it correctly, is supposed to be the bad qualities. And the blue is supposed to be good qualities. Let's look at the qualities. And now what they're going to do, going to see the perfect qualities, but then you're going to see if they can be seen, like if you have the good ones, can you see them as bad? And if you have the bad ones, can you see them as good? You know, can you see somebody else's quality? Probably your own is hard, but to look at some other people. Okay,
So these are the good ones.
yeah. So seeing that some of the good qualities may be bad qualities, and you guys see some of the bad qualities can be good qualities.
Can we talk about?
Yeah. Talk to each
So
other.
with some of these that could be bad.
Some of these it could be bad, yeah.
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 And this is like criticizing it, talk about.
Open
Oh, yeah. I think that's so cute.
I guess positive can be.
So with
Yeah.
this one, I think sometimes like.
Yeah,
so
because if it's not real, if it's
Yeah.
like a false sense of
exactly as well.
asking over,
Yeah.
what's the
I know
negative,
I've
it's not
like
actually
classes in the
facing
past, and just tried to get all
What
the
was
things
it?
done, like, and I'm like, oh, just clean the house instead.
Yeah.
But like also cleaning.
Well, that could be bad, I guess.
Yeah.
It is,
Yeah, if you can take that to extreme.
Because
I
then
guess.
you can't
Yeah,
focus
you could
on
bear
the
on diplomacy, so you could bear on almost like an apologist viewpoint and
Yeah.
just always apologizing for things and trying to see,
judgmental.
yeah, because
Yeah,
that's,
actually that would be one of my bad traits.
Everyone.
yeah, but and it's good because that, but then it's, you know, I see it as always trying
Yeah,
to
like
find
you can't,
common
you
ground
can't
between
help it,
different
right?
people,
Yeah.
different things and situations, and
You get
trying to look at it
feeling
from everyone's
that,
perspective, trying to just be the middle and,
you know, the initial reaction.
you know,
you get
find
to
a,
that
I've got to be a common
and
goal,
that
a
can help
common
you
answer for
building
most interactions.
you
But yeah, it could be
safe,
anything
right?
from that.
Yeah. I probably.
Are we almost done? A few more minutes, guys?
Talkative.
I'll give you a few more minutes.
To like improve yourself.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
And humour too, like if it's not at the right, if humour isn't done at the right time, or if it's upsetting to someone, humour isn't a.
Or even if it's insecure,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, like Mark's situation.
Yeah.
sarcasm.
Yeah.
Energizing.
That was fun. I just find it hard to do these type of things.
Yeah, but that's beautiful because humour,
It's
without
good to like share our
looking
feelings
into that, you would
without
automatically just think humour is a positive thing, but it's
Yeah.
because that's, I realise in my situation, I was just being super sarcastic to everyone, and that was me realising that I was. That's from something, it was an old trait, I used to use it.
This
Energising.
one, I don't know if this one,
I don't-
That was just
Sometimes you need to make judgment. You know what I mean? So it can come down to being indecisive.
But is that judgment or is that discernment?
No, yeah, you're right. I don't know.
I don't know if I could.
No,
Okay, guys, few more minutes, 1 minute. You can bring some, one of you can bring the stickers to,
Do we need to all the time?
bring the
Bring them
stickers,
down.
no, to you, to your chair, whatever.
Yeah.
Please, you're not to you to yourself, and then you're going to talk about it, you're going to share with the rest.
Bring them down there.
non-judgment and
Non-judgmental.
non-judgment,
So as a
non-judgment.
positive.
Yeah. Yeah, so what's the negative for that?
I think there is one. I think it's that maybe
What are we doing?
So we just.
It's just coming back and talking a little bit about it.
I'll have
Okay,
everyone
maybe
see
that's
it.
it.
Okay, review.
You've got some as well. Didn't need to do.
So first of all, how was the exercise? How was it? Were you surprised? Were you like, could you see both perspective, you know? Can you see both perspective, how things can be done one way and then it can be another way, you know, stuff like that. So I want you to share with me a little bit, but basically what I want to say about this is that we have many voices telling us to change from sometimes from within, sometimes from outside. You know, we want to be somebody else, you know, because something in there. But it's not the qualities that are the problem, you know, but how we use them, you know, and understand really this is our gift. We came with this package, you know. It's like, you know, made before we even exist in some way, you know. It, you know, was made in some way. We have these tendencies, these natures, you know. And so anyway, I like to hear a little bit about it and I talk some more. So I want to share.
Sure. Procrastinator. There's a couple of those.
So it's a bad one.
Yes,
It can be a good one.
but it can be a good one. We were just saying, like when you would try and do something, but then you'll like clean your house first. When you do that, like it makes you feel better.
Yeah. And also procrastinators, I put it on my good list, you know. Procrastinator. I think they put it. Oh no, maybe put it in the bad list anyway. I don't remember. But I think it's a good thing because what happened is that in a case of emergency, I say this before, you know, I tell my students all the time, in a case in the case of an emergency, you know, who you're going to call? A perfectionist or procrastinator, you know? The procrastinator works in very stressful situations with very little amount of time, and they're the clearest in their head when they have this pressure, you know? And so in a case of emergency, make sure you call a procrastinator. They will know how to get you out of that situation very quickly without stress because they have this sharp thing, you know?
See that again? That's amazing.
If you are in an emergency, you call a procrastinator. Like if you need something happen, you know, there's emergency, something, earthquake. I mean, I don't know here, but in America there are earthquakes and floods and whatever. You know, you need a procrastinator to act fast and think on the moment, think on the feet, and don't do it then. They will do. They have no problem to that because I used to work in that mood. In that mood, the brain works faster. They work sharper. They are like focused. They don't get this diverted. You know, so you know. You can be a good procrastinator. And the procrastinators to be good, they need a deadline. You know, they need a deadline. And if they have a deadline, they work very well. So in emergency, normally we have a deadline. It had to happen yesterday or now. And it's like, okay, now we got it.
Yeah.
The procrastinators can drop everything. There is nothing matter anything around, just the task, and they will get it done. And so that's the good thing about procrastinators. I always talk to my students because the society tell you should not be a procrastinator. It's bad to be a procrastinator. Yeah. But it's a tendency, it's a nature, and the procrastinators many times are creative, you know, and they have many talents and many things, and they multi-variable thinking, you know, they think about this and that and the other, and they have many things. They are creative in nature. And so, you know, I think it's a trait. It's a trait like any other trait, you know, like any introspect. Does anybody put introspect? Anybody here introspect? But there is a TED Talk called about the power of introspection, because sometimes people think that everybody has to be like me, yeah, out here, you know. But now we need introspect. If you're in a meeting, please have an introspect in there. Because the introspect is thinking, listening, and paying attention to everything, and the process goes in. And then when they speak, they're like, such a sharp, you know, so like such, oh, thank you. They may not speak for a whole hour, and then they say 2 words like, okay, you know. So like that, I think that we need to appreciate more, you know, who we really are embrace our differences. You're an introspect, I don't know, but I'm saying you're an introspect. Thank you so much. Please keep doing that. Don't become an extrovert like me because you will fake it. You will do it at force, and then you're going to feel unhappy because that's not your nature. But find how you fit better. Try to people understand procrastinator add value in some cases. Introvert add values, you know, and so everybody has values. That makes sense? So this is my way of like trying to a way people to embrace who they really are with the gifts that God has given us. And we are all unique and different. And we all try to be the same. We should be all organized. We should all be not procrastinator. We should all be extrovert. We should all be like, oh my, boring. Boring life, no? If we all like that, we'd be boring life. Diversity is a matter of enjoyment. And we try to fit and figure out what other people think or want about us, you know? So anyway, I take some more things and I'll tell you some more things I have here. Other things I want to share that you notice or you were, we don't have to go about every one of them, but anything surprised you or you were like,
we were thinking about the non-judgmental as a positive quality, but we haven't kind of decided what the
negative part.
Negative part of non-judgmental.
Well, sometimes, you know, if you see somebody killing an animal and you don't want to judge them, you know, then you can say, well, you know, there needs to be an understanding that, oh, abusing a child. I see sometimes on the streets, you know, the mothers, you know, getting the child, or sometimes the dogs, you know, like grabbing the dogs and like, you know, it's like, okay, you have to use your judgment. You cannot be all peace and love, everything's fine, no problem. Like you're blind.
We got the judgmental one as a bad, yeah. So it can be seen like both ways, right? And we were talking about how it, maybe being judgmental could protect you in situations because you have that initial instinct and you're like, I'm judging this situation because I want to stay safe or something.
Yeah, I was thinking, because is that judgment though, or I feel like when it's coming from a higher place, then it's not judgment anymore, it's a discernment. It's kind of a very, judgment to me, the word itself.
Yeah, sometimes I have problems with words, or some words are, for me in my register, they have something like, oh, like the word last in the books, they use a lot of last, and for me it's like, I have one idea of last, and this is what it is, and not all the other ideas people have. So sometimes we have words, you know, they're very strong to us, you know. But so yeah, we need to see the person who wrote it have the same understanding of judgment that you have. But yeah, that's a good point. But you know, it's just like, you know, discernment. Yes, I think that they're synonymous in some cases. And yeah, you can be judging everything, you know. Oh my God, oh, look at this. Oh my God, oh, look at that. She put a black hat. Oh my God, did you put a green hat, you see, or whatever, you know. You can be judging everything all the time. And that, of course, is bad. So my point is that, anybody else, any more thing? I want to give it a better chance before I keep talking. And which one? Self-critical. Okay. That's a bad one, no?
Bad one, yeah.
So can it be good?
Yeah. To a certain degree, because then you can kind of like, oh, well, you need to improve.
Yeah. If we think everything's perfect, like, you know, you don't have to be good, you just have to think you're good. And then the society is in a big mess right now because we have many generations, at least 20 or 30 years of like, doesn't matter if you're good or not, just feel good, everything's fine. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way. You have to improve, you know, you have to find ways. And plus it's like, you know, we want to be more fit or we want to be more healthy. Or we want to, you know, it's that like thing that motivates you to keep going to something. The moment you don't want to improve, it's like I say, I'm going to be dead, you know, because the moment you think everything is okay, you reach your maximum, everything is like boring, first of all, and like there is nothing else. So I think that it's always a place for improvement. Again, can be really an idiot. I don't do nothing good. I'm terrible. Nothing. You know, my life is meaningless. Or it can be to the point of. So, what my point of all these exercises? You want to say something, George?
No.
No, you okay? You guys?
We got one that said talking, communicating, but it was almost relating to what you said about introversion, because are we just talking for the sake of talking, or do we just like the sound of our own voice sometimes? And a few people have done like silent days here, and there's obviously for passion for a reason to like for introspection.
Yeah, but talkative, we need people who talk. You hear me talking because I have the tendency to talk, so I need to use it in some way. I'm a teacher, a professor, you know, I go to conferences, I give talks. This is what my life is because that's my tendency. If you're a quiet person, you're not going to go to a conference and give a talk, most likely, because that's not your tendency. And so it can be used bad and it can be, you know, like everything, every single one of the things. That's why I give you this exercise, you know, it can be bad in both in good and bad. You want to say something else? I just want to give it a bit of chance.
Oh, no, I feel like it's all.
Okay.
You know,
This one we didn't touch on. It's energizing, so it's pretty good. Like I don't know how you'd find the negative trait.
I think the negative would be like sometimes if you're like that, maybe you don't take that moment to just chill.
Yeah,
Burnout.
So,
Yeah.
burnout, exactly.
Yeah.
And also don't know when,
To stop.
where your energy can be overpowering other people's and not, so like that, have like a self-awareness of that,
Yeah.
Well, actually, one thing I noticed generally, like, because like, I don't know, my whole life I've struggled to put my faith into anything, so I've always just put it into the fact that the balance is something I can definitely put my faith in. It's always a balance. So I just think with everything, it generally, there's that balance. So there's always going to be the extreme of both, I think.
Yeah. So for me, the important part is to understand who we really are with all of it. Just like in no judgment, no society judgment, no personal judgment. This is me. This is me, blank face. This is it. This is what you see, what you get. And so I want to improve things. Yes, I want to do better. But now some tendencies are hard to improve because they come from like the package, Like in my tendency to talk a lot. I did 10 days silent retreat and I love it. And I can be silent if I need to. I live alone. So I'm many hours alone in my house silent and I'm okay. I'm not going crazy because I can speak. But, my tendency is to speak. So see your nature. I am creative. I'm a procrastinator, love to talk. I'm a leader, try to lead people to places, hopefully I lead them to good places, but that's my nature, my tendencies, And so the more that we accept who we are, without us beating ourselves in the head, I have a friend who used to say to me, in Spanish, I don't know how to translate in English really in the same meaning. He says, no te lastimes, means don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself, with a stick condemning for who you are. But think, okay, I'm like this, but I like to be over here, so I'm going to work towards it. Yeah. And so not to get like, oh my God.
We call it like, don't beat yourself up.
Yeah, don't beat yourself up. Yeah, something like that. But then I think that so the qualities are not the problem, but the way we utilize them. We accept, we realize our good qualities, and then we find how to properly use them. What will be a good use of this quality? I have this quality, which I think is negative, and maybe there's a good way to use it, and start thinking about it. What people need this quality for, how can it be used? And I have a good quality, can it be bad use? How can I make that? So have that critical thinking. So we are individual, eternal persons, not just in this body, but eternally. And it's called Purusha, means we are eternally individual. There will never a time you will not be an individual. And so this life is almost like, a training to remember that we are these individual persons, So there are many voices telling us, internal, external, who we are, how we're supposed to be. And so in order to utilize our full potential appropriately, we need to learn the modes of nature, how they affect us. So there is these qualities, these inherent qualities we have from birth, almost. And then we have the mode of nature. They are part of the universe design. There are three modes of nature. It's called goodness, passion, and darkness. It's three modes: goodness, passion, and darkness. And so, like the human color vision is tricolor, yes, and the primary colors, but you see arrays of different colors, So the three modes of nature, we each of us have a little bit of goodness, a little bit of passion, and a little bit of darkness. In each of us, we come with a package. It's like, the three colors, And then we have different quantities of those packages, Some people have more goodness, some people have more passion, some people have more darkness, And so we can raise the goodness is the most peaceful, more calm, the most satisfying, the one who doesn't like fresh things, light, and so on and so forth, so those are the qualities of the goodness, The passion is more spicy and, hot and, fast and, and darkness is really darkness, just dark and associated mainly with drugs and addictions. And this part of like not really, instead of uncovering the soul, you cover more and more with different things like that, And so, but we can race between those modes, you know, because we have them all. You know the story about these two, they say that we have two dogs inside ourselves and they're fighting all the time. You know that? And they fight in each other, you know, one is a good dog and the other one is a bad dog, and they fight, and then you know who wins. Who wins? So the two dogs inside you fighting. Yeah, say it loud.
The one you feed.
Yes, the one you feed, you know. So basically the one you feed, that explanation is about this mode of natures, you know. So we can raise to the mode of goodness nature, or we can degrade to the mode of ignorance. And it's our choice, our free choice to move to those things. So these qualities we have can be all used in the mode of goodness, can be in the mode of passion, can be the mode of ignorance. And the mode of ignorance tend to be destructive, you know. And so we need to understand these modes and develop awareness of how they work, you know. And so how the modes are not passive, they are active powers that force us to act. These modes are forcing us to act. And so we need to cultivate the mode of nature that we think that is more conducive to our best self, you know, to make us more happy. I think we all look at the same things, you know. Research after research after research, we all look for happiness, peacefulness, yes, and a meaningful life, you know. We're looking for those things, you know. And so we have freedom. I love freedom. We have freedom, and we can be sometimes in darkness, and we can be there for a little while and see that this is it doesn't have an end to it. If you feed darkness, it's going to be more dark and more dark. It's hard to get out. Sometimes you need somebody else, like, hey, get out of that place, you know, get out of your bed, get out of your room, or get out of whatever situation you are. Please get out of that mental misery, you know. It's really not peaceful. It's not peaceful. It's not happy. It's not meaningful, purposely. So all the qualities we're seeking in that mode, they're completely worse. And in some cases, they're bad for the people around you. You know, so they're also affecting the people around you. You know, you may be infecting them with that darkness. You know, you spread the darkness. You know, and so so we need to develop awareness of the modes of nature and how they work. You know, and so they will we can. So they say sometimes we yeah, I don't know about that. So Heraclitus, I think it said, I don't know his name very well, but some philosopher said, a person can never step twice in the same river because it's a water flux, no? And my master said, my guru said that we can breathe twice in the same body because the body, biological flux. The cells are constantly regenerating and changing. And if you notice a little bit, when you were a little baby, or even if you look at a picture of 5 years ago, you will see 100% that you are not the same as 5 years ago. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, those of you who are 20. And so, think about it, that you are changing, and the more that you grow, you will continue to change, but there's a biological flux. So who are really? If that biological flux is there, but there is something constant. And that constant is the soul. And so this mode of natures and our qualities can help us to elevate and uncover a real identity. And imagine that eternally, you are an individual person. And we are just covered. We're just covered with this body. And when our mind, our intelligence, society, and structures and more structures, we're covered. But imagine you can start taking layers off. And the more you take layers off, you more shine from the soul, and people can see that in you. You are more genuine, more transparent, because you can shine that. And the soul is eternally blissful. So if you're blissful, you are experiencing the qualities of the soul. And my guru says something like that. It's the happiness not neurologically induced. I will repeat that because I love it. Happiness that is not neurologically induced. For example, eating a chocolate is a neurologically induced happiness, yes? Because the dopamine goes in the brain, hug, all things are neurologically induced. I like chocolate, I like hugs, so I give everybody a hug when I came. But I'm saying they're neurologically induced, yes? But imagine a happiness that is not neurologically induced. And that happiness is incredible because it doesn't come from anything external. It comes from the soul, who you really are. So the more you uncover those layers, the more you get in touch with the soul, who you really are, the more those qualities can emanating. And then you can be happy and peaceful anywhere because it's not the external thing. It's not this body. It's not the society. It's not the place you are in. It's from within. And so I think that's what we're aiming for. That's what we the tendency. We want to be happy. We want to be peaceful. We are. We are happy and we are peaceful. We just a little cover with a few blankets over and over. And sometimes we put more blankets. Society blankets. Yes? Demands of other people blankets, But in the scriptures, like Bhagavad Gita and so on, explains the mode of nature and how we can raise, how we can fluctuate. And today I'm more in passion than in ignorance. And yesterday I was more in ignorance than tomorrow. And every day we can cultivate, in my house be clean, organized, clean. At least, I'm not very organized, but it's clean, so it's, mode of goodness. Eat food, they're not too spicy, mode of goodness. Associate with people, they're the mode of goodness. And so you're cultivating that association, yes? And therefore you're going to develop that. But the idea is not to be in the material mode of goodness, the idea is to transcend that. To transcend, to really get all the layers, even the goodness is a layer. It's just a good layer, but it's a layer. So eventually you can get rid of that layer, you find eternity. I was just reading yesterday, listening to, they're doing a conference for woman voices in the Hare Krishna, which is very interesting. And there was a woman who was a Prabhupada disciple. Prabhupada is the guru who started the whole thing, in case you don't know who Prabhupada was. And her name is Chamuna, and she wrote books, cooking books, and she cooked for Prabhupada, and she was very famous. And she was about to die. And they asked her, if Krishna will give you more time, is there anything else you want to do? And she said, no, I'm happy to live. How many people on the planet, they say, I'm happy to live. Happy to live. It's like, excuse me, you're freaking dying. And then she said, yes, I'd like to give something for women to find their voices. That's what she said at the end. If I have more time, that's what I will do. It's very beautiful. But I've seen many devotees who live, they know they're about to die and they just prepare for it, like a journey. Like when you go from here to another city or, like you came here, you got prepared. You got your luggage, your suitcase, and you have some plans and you have, so in the moment of death, we have a plan. And we say, imagine to live in that peace of mind. Imagine you have the peace to give other people when they die. To the comfort the other people. No, they didn't die. They're eternal. They're eternal. They're still living. They just left the body, this body. They may take another body. They may go to Krishna Loka and play with Krishna and the cows in there. Who knows? But so for me, that's when I find our uniqueness, and our equality. The title was, how to find our. Embrace our difference to find our equality, And that equality, you are full of bliss and knowledge and eternity. And you are full of bliss, knowledge and eternity. And you are full of bliss, knowledge and eternity. And you are full of bliss, knowledge and eternity. And you are full of bliss, knowledge and eternity. And you are full of bliss, knowledge and eternity. And I am full of bliss, knowledge and eternity. We are equal. So that's the equality. That's the only equality that can exist. The other equalities are fake. They're imposed, they are constraining, they try to be, equal, but they are not, They try to conform. You need to be this way, and this way, and this way not, and this way yes. Like, who? Why? Yeah, we just need to find, we are in these material bodies, and therefore material bodies are affected by the mode of nature. And we have a tendencies that came with our body from previous karmas, from desires, from God knows for what things, you know, a bunch of combination of things. And so we have all the things in here. But then we need to figure out how to get entrapped in here. So we start one life, next life, always repeating the cycle. And I don't know if you notice, but sometimes the planet can get worse, you know, or you can just liberate. And the problem of being in this planet is not a big deal, but really it's a little bit of suffering. I don't know if you notice, you know, we are not detached from suffering, you know, even when I'm, you know, I've been at the body for so long, and I think I'm not this body, but when I had a procedure, an operation, and the anesthesia didn't work, oh my God. I am freaking this body, I tell you, you know, I was like, you know, I am this body, big time, this body, yes. I am this body, big time, not detached. So we can talk about, I'm not this body, you know, yeah, you know, love and peace. But no, we are this body, we are in this body, but this is not a real identity. But in this body, we have pain and sorrows, and we worry things, and we need to improve. And so we need to figure out how to live in this planet with a roadmap, you know, a roadmap that tell us how to live the life in here to help us obtain our highest potential, knowing that you always have freedom, you know. Like in the Bhagavad Gita, the guide of the Bhagavad Gita, which is the book I love, and all of you know about it already. But, you know, this is my roadmap. I just love it. Love how to explain things, you know. And I love it because Krishna says in the last chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, I explain everything to you. Do as you wish. I tell you because I love you. Krishna said that to all of us. Do as you wish. I'm just telling you, the mother of nature are going to get you. Yes, society are going to get you. You know, your brain is going to get you. But you can be in whatever you want. You can be dragged by the mode of nature, you can be dragged by society, you can be done by your mind, you can do anything you want. But also know that you can be free of all of that. I just need to follow the roadmap. If you want to go, you know, now there is no roadmap anymore because GPS is there. But I remember when I traveled in Germany, you know, I had to travel with a roadmap, you know, and the roadmap in Germany were terrible. They're a little book, and one page was here, and the next page was in the next 10 pages later, you know, and you had to search with this next thing, you know. And I traveled 3 years in Germany just moving with a roadmap, and it took me from one place to another. And sometimes I got lost, but most of the time I got to those places I wanted. So this philosophy, what I love about is that, you know, they tell you if you do this, you get this result. If you do this, you get this result. Do whatever you want. And then you do this, like, and you do this, okay. So you can follow the map, or you cannot follow the map and see what you get. And so it's a very experimental philosophy, you know. I was talking to Celia last time, and it's like, you don't need to follow by faith. I don't like faith. I say that many times already. I think you need a little bit of faith, like you need a little bit of faith to think if you eat vegetarian diet will be good for your body and will be good for your environment. You have to have faith on that in order to follow that, yes? And if you go to the university, you have to have faith that you're going to get a degree by doing whatever they tell you, yes? Imagine you do everything and then you don't get a degree. That would be bad. Prabhupada actually didn't get his degree. He was a pharmacist. And then he was the British were invading India and all that stuff. He studied in the English university. And then stand against the British colony, he didn't accept the degree. But what I'm saying, that's a special case, but I'm saying that you normally do something because you have faith that they will give you, yes? You know, they will give you what you're looking for. And you have to have the faith. You have to have the faith that this farm will give you some peace and quiet time. And you had to come here, that faith. You didn't know, but you have faith and you came. So that's the amount of faith I think is required, just to take the leap, yeah? A little bit. But then no, everything else is not faith. You just read, figure out, go to the left, find this. Go to the right, find this. Find here, find that. Okay, everything is like explained. And so for me, it's fascinating. And I'm very, very eager for people to find the diverse, who they really are, because we can be enriching each other's life. We can be so, you know, I was thinking, imagine we had to build this house, you know. I mean, this is material, not completely with the personality base, but the same idea, you know. They have, one is a carpenter, one is a glass person, one knows about plumbing, one knows about windows, and, you know, everybody knows something else, and together we can do a house, and now everybody comes, imagine everybody knows how to put windows, and nobody knows how to do anything else, will be really bad, yes. So similar in our traits and natures, you know. We have all different natures, and we can help each other with those natures instead of fighting against our nature. This is who I am. And the more we tell people, this is my characteristic, did I serve you in any way? I'm here for you, you know. And so you find your qualities and who you are, and then see how you can contribute to the benefit of the others, and how to do in the mode of goodness, how to do in the best qualification, you know. Judgment in the good mode of goodness will be a judgment that will be helpful for people to get better, yes, to benefit them in some way, yes. Something. Judgment in the mode of ignorance will be just because, oh my God, oh, I need to talk about this, it's so bad. Yes, just because like I have my dog, this bad dog likes to eat that dirty thing, you know? And I want to judge everything in there, you know.
What about self-doubt?
Self-doubt. Yeah, it's also self-imposed by society a lot, because I think that they want something from you that you think are not reaching out, you know. Somebody wants something of you which is not you sometimes, yes, it's other people, and then you don't think you are capable of. But the more that the strength doesn't come from the brain. The strength comes from the soul, literally from the soul, from the real you. And so the more you get in touch with the real self, you get a strength like a lion. You know, that doesn't stop you, because it comes from within, you know. So the idea is to understand that you have a full potential, like a human being with, you know, God has given you everything possible and give you more than many people, because you have 2 legs and 2 arms and 2 eyes, and many people don't even have all of those things. You have an amazing body which has an intellect and has thinking, reason. Animals can reason. Animals act only in the mode of nature. And you have reasoning. And so just, yeah, this is imposed. I had a very bad self-esteem, really bad. You would not believe it right now, but I had a horrible self-esteem, terrible. But I was married for 15 years with a man who really put me down all the time. And 15 years of being conditioning that I was not intelligent, that I will never do anything on my own, that I was dependent, and this and that, they conditioned me to believe that it was true. So self-doubt sometimes comes from those impositions of the people around us. Sometimes loved ones, in my case, my husband. That's why I'm divorced. No. That's not why I'm divorced, because he left me with another woman, which was on top of that. but you know, since he left, you know, I was like, oh my God, I did a lot of therapy, a lot of self-help books, tons of self-help books like that. And I always chanted Hare Krishna. And so from all my experience of everything, you know, the more I get in touch with my real identity, you know, this full of knowledge, full of bliss, you know, and eternity, that give you the strength that like material words like, okay, it's just a playground. Yeah. Just a playground. And just doing this playground the best you can with your tendency, with your nature. And you can achieve anything you want. There is a TED Talk. I love TED Talks. I'm going to finish in a few minutes. There is a TED Talk called, I think it's called We Are Not This Body. I can look for it exactly, the name of it. It's a woman who was, I think, maybe I don't remember what, but she was a professional ski. She was a professional ski for the Olympics. And she, you know, what people for Olympics do. What do they do? Train. And what do they do more? Train. And what else? They train. The 24 hours of their life is training, you know. That's her motivation in life, her purpose in life, everything, the food they eat, everything is for the training, for the Olympics, and so on and so forth. So she was in that mood of like, yeah. And then she said she got ready to do one of those training, and the last thing she knows, everything was black. And what happened? She was run over by a car. So she loved her mobility. She loved her mobility completely. What about Olympics? Her purpose of life. Imagine if your purpose of life is only Olympics and you train for the Olympics and your whole life is train at Olympics and train at Olympics. Oh my God, talk about life changing, you know? And she couldn't walk. She was paralyzed. She was bedridden for months and months and months. And she said one day she saw a plane from her bed, you know, the window, she saw a plane flying. She said, oh, I want to be a pilot. She was in the bed reading. And then her mom, through a big struggle with a wheelchair and this and that, took her to the pilot station and they said, you know, my daughter wants to be a pilot. Like, you know, somebody in a wheelchair, a pilot, it's like, doesn't make sense. But anyway, long story short, she's now training pilots. And she was walking in the talk when she was talking. And she talks about the whole process throughout, the strength that she got, yes? Was for this desire to overcome these material things, you know? And that desire, that strength, even though she doesn't know, so she may not realize, that strength came from the soul. It's not, I say, neurological induced. It comes from the within. So every time you need to tap into something great, go there, because that's all your potential in there. And the more you go there, the more the things, blah, 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 outside, they disappear. You know? Anyway, I'm going to stop here. I will answer more questions if you have. Thank you for the question. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah. Trust yourself. Trust that God give you this body, give you the intelligence, they give you everything you need for succeeding. Just figure out what you like to do, what is naturally to you, and go for it. Go for it. And sometimes you make mistakes. That's all right. Part of learning. When you make mistakes, you learn that's not supposed to be doing. And oh, you want to do it better or different. I saw this advertisement one. I don't watch TV ever. I have a big TV in my house now. I never turn it even once on. I don't even know. I was thinking, oh, maybe I can connect my computer and then I don't even know how. So like, whatever. Anyway, but in this advertisement in somebody's house, because people have TVs always in their houses, and they say, this vacuum was a German accent, I can say it very well, but this vacuum is the best vacuum. Best vacuum because we did 500 before bad vacuums. And I loved it. I love it. Yes. We need to do 500 times wrong before we get to the right. But if we didn't do the first one wrong, we never get to the 500. Yes? We need to do it wrong many times and learn and do it again. When you start walking, did you just walk? Ha, I'm going to walk. No, you fell. And you fell again, and you fell again, and you fell again. And then one day you start walking. Like that's life. So people are afraid of falling, of making mistakes, then don't do anything. It's the worst thing you can do. Just do it and learn from the process. And then listen. Listen to the universe. Listen to the universe. Listen to the universe. Listen to Krishna, to God, the universe, whatever you like to call it. But I call it Krishna. I like his name. You know, he tells you. And sometimes he tells you, you cannot go there, but I want to. But you cannot go there, it's not good for you, but I want to. I think you should not go there, but I really keep wanting. And then, you know, you try and you smash yourself, like, no, but I want it. And you smash and you smash. Like, I think I'm getting the message. I think I'm getting the message that's not the place to go. And then when you trust, imagine you have a partner or a mother or father or somebody who always is very good guidance for you. You will just trust them. You feel like, okay, he told me not to go there, must be a reason. Must be a reason. I should not go for some reason. It's okay. And just be happy with that. It's hard because we have our mode of natures, our desires. They get really strong. They become attachment and then becomes really like obsession and then become frustrated because once you get it, it's like, oh, that was it. Or because it doesn't last, we get frustrated because it doesn't last. Then we are confused. We work so hard for this and now it's like, oh, and then we forget we are really, what we are? Full of knowledge, blissful, and eternity. That's who we are. And we forget that. And so we suffer unnecessary. So the more that we understand who we really are, we're in this body, in this car. I have my car, and it has its things, they work, some things they don't work. This is my same car, some things work well, sometimes don't work well. My emotions, my intelligence work well, sometimes they don't work well. They're not perfect. It's a material world. What we want. Last time I was talking to my guru, I was like, but why this happened, And I said, Gandhini, we're in the material world. It's like, oh yeah, right. I forget. We wanted to make it perfect here, like the perfect place, everything perfect. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. But we can make the best. The goodness, with association, stuff like that. Any other comments? Questions? No? What are you thinking?
That was awesome. That was great talk. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you for inspiring me to talk. Thank you for helping me to connect with you. I love you to see shining who you are. I really love to see diversity. It's so nice to see people's natures and tendencies, and it's so cool, And so be who you are.